Hello and welcome once again to Top Hat Chat live with me, Street and Orb. Today we are taking part in episode 11 of the Great Gaming Debate, talking about what we think is the best South Park game of all time.
Yes, well, you see, South Park to me is one of the most iconic TV franchises out there. I remember seeing it when I was approaching the end of primary school, and then when I got into high school, it was a huge cultural phenomenon. And watching, I think it was 2001, I'd have been 11 years old, watching South Park. I'm pretty sure I got into the cinema maybe for that one. But it's such a huge impact, had such a huge impact on my life that the fact that there are, in my opinion, two or three really awesome South Park games is such a blessing, because not many of your favourite TV franchises get paid homage so well in the medium of computer games.
Yeah, luckily there's also been some absolute crap, which is definitely worth talking about.
Yes.
So we're going to go through them in order. Starting off with the very first South Park game. I'm pretty sure it was just titled South Park.
Yes, it was. It didn't have any sort of after title or anything like that. It was just straight up South Park. Yeah,
originally came out on the Nintendo 64 in 98, and then a year later on the PC and PS1. I played the PS1 version when that came out, and you played the N64 version.
Yes, indeed.
So what do we think of the game?
It's not great. Okay, it's a fairly substandard first-person shooter, but it has that iconic touch of South Park comedy that kind of masks some of its flaws. Like, it's worth playing at least a couple of times if you're a massive fan of the show, because it is so South Park. But it's not great. Some of the weapons are funny.
And some great weapons.
The story's pretty batshit crazy, which I do always appreciate. But yeah, by and large, it's not the best.
I mean, if you're comparing it to other first-person shooters at the time, I think that potentially it's not the greatest ever. But
of course not.
For anybody that was a fan of the show, it was incredible. It kept that same humour.
Mm-hmm.
And really that is all you really needed from a South Park game at the time. I was a huge fan of South Park at the time, and I remember being really, really excited when I saw this game. And I remember getting it, and I was really excited, and I remember playing through it. Yes, it was a bit sloppy, not the best game in the world, but I laughed my arse off the whole way through.
True. The humour is really present, and it does, like I said, it does mask some of the flaws, like the piss-poor visuals, and graphics in general. I mean, the weapons, as I said, which were funny, they were really good because every weapon kind of had like a dual mode to it, or they were really rather special. So, you obviously had the yellow-covered snowballs.
See, that was the one that I was going to go for. There's a cow launcher as well.
Cow launcher. I almost said a cat silencer, but that's not true, because that's Postal 2. You also had dodgeballs. You had the machine that you throw out and it makes the dancing.
Yeah,
it makes you dance.
Alien dancing thing. Yeah. I mean, it had some really, really good things. I mean, I think that the graphics, you kind of have to ignore them a little bit, because South Park in itself wasn't the best visually.
No.
So you could get away with the game being maybe slightly subpar, because it was funny.
Yeah, I don't think it did enough. It was still a poor game, but it has the South Park charm.
Yeah, I think even playing it now, because I think I played it not so long ago, it didn't feel sharp, but I wasn't upset playing it.
That's fair. I would struggle potentially to go back.
Yeah. I mean, the next game that came out was Chef's Love Shack, which came out on the N64, the Dreamcast, the PS1 and PC in 99.
Mm-hmm.
See, I only have a few memories of this, so do you want to quickly buzz over that one?
So it was like a quiz show, basically. I think there was a couple of mini games thrown in as well. And it was just based around this whole game show called Chef's Love Shack.
Yeah.
And it was good because it had a lot of chefs' little jingles and tunes in it, which obviously by the great Isaac Hayes, were really awesome.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't. It's still, if you wanted to play a South Park game, you wanted to be doing something South Parky, and being on a game show like that didn't seem like a very South Parky thing to do. Like, I get the concept. The concept works, and it's obviously a very funny game. But again, it's not what I want to be playing if I'm playing a South Park game.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of fits in because South Park is quite random. And they could pretty much release anything, which they have done. And it gets some kind of success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, I would have quite happily played a Chef's Love Shack 2 if he hadn't have gone off and joined the Super Adventure Club.
That was a fair while after the first
It
Chef's Love Shack.
It was. But there are some big gaps, which I'm going to talk about coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough for that? Is there anything else you want to mention about
Not
Love
really.
Shack?
It just wasn't very. It wasn't a very remarkable game, and that's unfortunately the pattern that comes up with a fair few South Park games. They're not really worth the time.
Yeah. I mean, you also had in '99 South Park Rally, which came out on the PS1, the Dreamcast, and the N64.
Yeah.
See, at the time, kart racers, yeah, sure, brilliant. Not one of the better ones.
Not when you're contending
Of that
against
era.
Crash Team Racing and Diddy Kong's Racing and things like that, you know.
And Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Any of them. I genuinely think I prefer to go and play the first Mario Kart than go and play South Park Rally.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a great game. It had entertaining moments.
Well, in my opinion, the most entertaining moment that could be really gleaned from South Park Rally is trying to watch Top Hat Gaming Men play it.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah.
What way do I go? That way. What way? Straight ahead. No, you're going left. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It's because the racetrack that was on, I can't remember if it's like that for every level, basically doesn't use like the traditional race formula of a circuit. It's like checkpoints. So you can essentially go anywhere you want to these checkpoints, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all along, all spread out over the map. And he literally just could not grasp the concept.
No, it's a difficult concept, bless him. And we know that he's much better at linear games, point A, point B, than anything else, which is probably why he doesn't play a lot of games that we play.
Yeah.
But it's a good game.
Mm-hmm. It is.
If you're watching idiots play it.
Yeah, that's the only time that you're ever going to really enjoy it.
There we go. So the N64 game was released in '98, and then you had the PC and the PS1 version of the original South Park in '99, as well as Chef's Love Shack in '99, as well as South Park Rally in '99.
Yeah.
So a lot all coming out that year, and then it's 10 years.
Yeah, but I think essentially what happened is they ended up ploughing their money into making the motion picture around that time.
Yeah, but 10 years is a long gap.
And the games were poor. Like, they said it themselves. Like, by the time they get back into fully making computer games again, and there's a long time till that happens, like, they were so dismayed by their original attempts that they just didn't want to do it again. And if they were going to do it, it had to be done right. And whilst there is a significant gap of, like, 10 years until the next entry, you actually have to go even further, and it's more like 15 years
to get a good one.
No, it's not even to get a good one, to get one that they Trey Parker and Matt Stone, that they actually put real time and effort into.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about this one first. And the game, in case you haven't wondered, came out in '09, was South Park Let's Go Tower Defense or something. And it came out for the Xbox Live Arcade in 2012. Wait,
yes.
In '09. In '09.
09.
I played it a bit, and there's not a mass amount to say about it. It's a tower defense game.
I quite liked it. I liked the visuals. I liked the fact that it was South Park. But yeah, it was just a tower defense game.
Yeah, I mean, you could have pretty much put any skin over it, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
No, and again, this is the whole thing about, it's like a Chef's Love Shack. I'm playing a South Park game, but it's not doing something I want to do with South Park.
It's not, no. So we can breeze over that one quickly. The next game that came out was another Xbox Live Arcade game, South Park Teneman's Revenge in 2012, so 3 years later.
Yeah, it was like a kind of platformer.
I didn't play this one.
Do you know what? I think I might have played it for all of about 10 minutes.
So you didn't want to carry on playing it?
No, I didn't ever own it. It was on someone else's Xbox.
And it didn't... What I'm saying is it didn't compel you to go and buy it.
No, it was just a fairly sort of standard, quite simple platformer, really.
And didn't draw you in enough.
No, I mean, it might be worth a revisit, if I'm being honest, because I didn't interact with it long enough to form a strong opinion. So, I'm not saying let's write off the game completely, but really, I don't know.
It didn't draw you in.
No.
In the 10 minutes that you played it, and I saw it when it came out and went, that looks awful, and didn't bother. Which I think says enough. Could be worth a revisit, but probably not. The next game that came out was actually a significant leap forward in quality, because in 2014, on the PC, PS3 and Xbox 360, we had South Park The Stick of Truth.
Aye, this is where the South Park game lineage really starts to pick up. So basically they had fully decided to commit to the idea of a South Park game, and they had written enough script for about 5,000 minutes or hours, or not hours, 5,000 minutes of like dialogue and stuff.
Yeah.
And it took them absolutely ages to write it all because they got obsessed with it. They partnered up with a really good developer. Was it Obsidian? Or was it Obsidian when it was Fractured? I can't remember, but the project got rescued, I'm pretty sure, by another developer, and then basically they just gave us a JRPG in a fantasy setting with South Park characters playing a game like they do in some of the most iconic South Park episodes, where they're playing a game that is like a nice blend of reality and fantasy.
Yeah.
Because it's through that child's imagination kind of thing. And it is an amazingly good game.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's not super polished. When you play through it, you feel that it's not quite as polished as it could be. Mm-hmm. But as a first entry to a JRPG series...
Oh, yeah. It's top drawer.
It's incredible.
The class system was funny, and it was different enough to make each one kind of feel like a good playthrough.
Yeah.
You know, there was enough variants you could do.
And we played this on stream.
Yeah, we completed it.
Yeah, we finished it on twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat,
Nice.
where we are quite often. Usually it's a long Saturday stream and a short midweek. You can go and find us over there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Make sure you do.
If you haven't set up an account, it takes a whole of about a minute and a half. And it won't eat up your day. You can hit the follow button and follow us. Make sure notifications are turned on and you'll be notified as soon as we go live.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Is that it for...
No. The thing I want to say about the Stick of Truth is it kind of took this D&D aspect of culture that had become quite a big thing at this point in time.
Yeah.
And it just ticks so many boxes culturally for this game. The writing is super strong.
Yeah.
The writing is super strong. The gameplay mechanics they felt a little... They weren't the best at points. Sometimes they felt a little clunky, and some of the mini games were a bit annoying to try and do, which sounds silly, but actually some of them were actually more difficult through mechanics rather than skill required.
Yeah. That's fair.
But you know, it's still so worthy of a playthrough. Even if you're not a South Park fan, I think it will make a South Park fan out of you. Make sure you get the Steam version though, because if you're from the UK or the EU, it's actually banned. Like
certain parts of it are cut
banned
completely, and you miss out on a lot. So if you're from the UK or the EU, then just double check you're not getting a censored version on whatever platform and wherever you are. Make sure you're getting the right version. Next, no DLC for Stick of Truth.
No, not really.
There should have been.
Yeah, that's the one thing that really killed me.
But there wasn't. Also in that year, we had South Park Pinball.
Yes.
Which came out on Android, iOS, PC, PS3 and 4 and Vita and the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One and the Wii U.
Wow, that's a lot of games.
So it came out on practically everything that was available at that specific moment in time. And what is there to say? It's a South Park game with pinball.
I've never played it. Never played it. I don't even think I've seen it.
There's nothing particularly special about it at all.
I can't imagine it
I've
is.
never played it myself, but I did see a little bit on it before the stream went live because I did a bit of research, and it's a pinball game.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's pinball. I don't think there's enough we need to say about it. It came out on everything, which is great, big reach, but it's pinball.
Yeah. That's it. It's a very niche kind of game area anyway, pinball. So...
Yeah. Next, we are going to talk about South Park: The Fractured But Whole, which came out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. This is a game that we are actually playing later on this evening over on Twitch, and is definitely worth checking out.
Oh, 100%. It is an amazingly good game.
Yeah, it's another RPG in the series, as most people probably know, but its mechanics are considerably more polished than the Stick of Truth.
The battle mechanics are a lot better. They sort of, because they've gone for the superhero aesthetic, they work a lot better for that.
Yeah.
Like, they allow you to feel more like a superhero with the game, because basically it now works on a grid system, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
In a way. And so you take your movement and you can do your action and it flips between, and do you know what, it just feels, it's almost like tactical. The battles are more tactical than a traditional straight up slog.
I think trying to compare it to Final Fantasy Tactics is a bit much, but the grid system is very similar, but it's a small grid. It's not like you can go anywhere.
No.
Like it's usually quite a small grid, but it is really cool. The mechanics are on point. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah! Oh, it's so funny.
And
funny.
I genuinely think it's the last entry, and I genuinely think this is the one that's the best. There's an argument for Stick of Truth.
Here's the thing, right? The gaming aspect of Fractured But Whole is unparalleled when it comes to South Park games. It's the best game, to play.
100% is.
The writing is arguably stronger in Stick of Truth.
See, again, I like the writing in both. I think the Stick of Truth edges it, but I don't think there's as much in it as what people tend to say, in my opinion. This is my opinion. And I think that, yes, Stick of Truth is slightly better. Fractured But Whole is close. Very close behind.
Yeah, it's not like the writing in Fractured But Whole is terrible.
No. And I think that if you compare the difference between the gameplay quality of the two games and the difference between the story quality of both games, overall...
Yeah, I do lean towards the Fractured But Whole.
Fractured But Whole edges it. The music is great. It's also great in Stick of Truth, but it's great. The story's fun, the characters are brilliant, the class system is brilliant. Not quite as good, but it's still brilliant.
It does...
The characters are better because you get to play... Mysterion, the Coon, Professor Chaos. There are so many things, so many characters that you love, and I think that resonates a lot more with me personally, because they're all characters from the show.
Yeah, and obviously you've now grown up with them for 20 years almost, and you love them so much. Well, it is 20 years, over 20 years now, that watching them in such a good game, doing such South Park-based comedy with awesome gameplay, it warms the heart. Yeah. Because it's a TV franchise that has been treated right. Yeah. And it's given 2 amazing games out of all of them. It's not like it's not received its fair attention. It's had a lot of games compared to some popular TV series. Yeah. But it's like The Simpsons only got hit and run. Is it Hit and Run? Is the good one?
Oh, only one good game?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant one game. I was like,
no.
But no, the arcade's alright.
It's alright. It doesn't have 2 absolutely stellar games. Do you know what I mean?
Wrestling?
No. Skateboarding? No.
No. Yeah. It's got 2 absolutely great games. There is one more game that we need to talk about before we make a definitive decision. and that is South Park Phone Destroyer, which is all I'm going to say about it, apart from the fact that it came out in 2017, and that neither of us played it because neither of us are bored housewives or children.
Yeah, don't play phone games.
Because it only came out on iOS and Android. That's literally all I'm going to say about it. If we are wrong, we would like to know in the comment section. If anybody has played the game and it's actually very, very good, let us know in the comment section. That is where we want to know. We'd also like to know your experiences of all of the South Park games that we have mentioned today, as well as whether or you know of any cancelled games that may have came out in around 2018, like the Game Boy Color ones. I think that one got found on a ROM somewhere, and you can now play that.
Oh, really?
Which we've never done.
No, I've never.
But yeah, it's worth looking at.
Oh, okay.
There's some extra information there. If anyone's going to seek that out and let us know whether we should play it. But other than that, you got anything to say?
Just that, if you are a fan of South Park, you should be happy because you have some amazing games to play.
Yeah.
And basically, you should be playing them, even if you don't like South Park, because it will get you into it, and South Park is really worth getting into. The
games themselves are solid enough if you're not a South Park fan, as long as you have a sense of humour. Mm-hmm. The games are good enough. Mm-hmm. Specifically, The Stick of Truth and The Fractured But Whole. I'm going to cough.
You're going to cough? That was a nice sound.
Yeah, I know. I'm at the tail end of my recovery.
Good. At least it's a recovery.
Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of this stream and listening to us ramble on about our favourite South Park games for over 20 minutes. Yeah, it's been fun.
It has.
We would like to know your opinions in the comment section, so please let us know. You can find us in between streams at all of the usual places. You can find us on Twitter. Our names are at the bottom of the screen. You can find us on Instagram by searching Top Hat Chat. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat, where we go live twice a week, usually. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to follow, hit that notification button. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to give us a subscribe, make sure notifications are turned on. Giving this video a like always helps us, and we do try and interact with all the comments that we get, so please give us all of those things.
I love it. Couldn't say it better myself.
Yeah. So anyway, we will see you over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat literally in 2 minutes. Thank you for being here for this stream, and catch you next time.